This presentation is brought to you by Smoooth Productions.
Welcome to another edition of your Wednesday Night Sports Delight Platform Sports Talk Show. What is going on, party people? It is your boy Smooth. That is Smooth with 3 O's. It's another Wednesday. It is your Wednesday Night Sports Delight. And bam, there we go on the screen. See? So you know I ain't playing. Your Wednesday Night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. This is the main show. Been going strong for 9 years consistently every Wednesday. This is the best sports talk show experience that you will have on a Wednesday. And the reason why it's the platform sports talk show network is because we have so many great things that we do with the main show. But before then, for those watching or listening for the first time, thank y'all very much for taking time out of your day to be a part of the platform sports talk show network. Y'all like, well, who are you, Smooth? Well, I'm glad you asked. I am Mr. Jack of all trades. Y'all need professional DJ services. I made that happen. Need some custom apparel, t-shirts, caps, hoodies, you name it. Want to represent, want to support Smoooth Productions and need a shirt or anything made, get at me. I also provide audio visual, need lighting, need a projector screen, any type of audio visual for your corporate or private event. Let's make it happen. Also a sound engineer, as you can see right now, a podcaster, talk show host. Y'all need help getting your show up and running, or like to have yours truly on, or whatever we can do to make things happen. Get at me as well with that. And last but not least, photography, videography, and drone services. So just go to smoothproductions.com. Once again, Smooth with 3 O's for booking. Let's talk. Let's make things let's make things happen and make your event smooth. You can also right now scan the QR code, take you right to everything about Smoooth Productions, from the website to all my social medias. If you want to go ahead and, maybe Zelle me or Venmo me some money, a little tip, little support, you can do all that. Give y'all 5 seconds to scan the QR code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. You can also save your name as a contact, and we'll be connected as well. Once again, the Platform Sports Talk Show Network, there's so much going on every Wednesday of the month. And of course, just give us a follow all across social media. You have Facebook, you have the X. We on Instagram live right now. Go on YouTube, subscribe, and click on that bell. So anytime you go live, or we go live, should I say, you will be notified. Also, if you would like to book the Platform Sports Talk Show Network, we love to go to any kind of sporting event and show our face, represent, and get some on-the-spot interviews, maybe even broadcast live and do a show from a game or from a sporting facility or building, no matter what it is. We have no issue going out to the people and being remote. Shoot us an email, platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com. Also, if you can't, we know things happen in life. So if you can't watch the show, you can also listen in. I go on to hot365radio.com or via the app. Download on iOS or on Android, and you can hear the high definition, great quality. All our voices sound so amazing. They also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/hot365 radio. And you can catch the replay of our most recent show each Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, once again on Hot 365 Radio. And once again, we have so many things going on with the Platform Sports Talk Show Network. Every first Wednesday of the month, you have Ladies Night, the best panel of ladies who love sports. This crew is so amazing. They are all family. They all know they stuff. Fellas, if you think you can get one past them, watch the show and try your luck, and you'd be so amazed. So it's a ladies' night panel every first Wednesday of the month. Every last Wednesday, you have the man cave where anything, and I mean where anything can go down. Both of these shows are so amazing. They have their own way of doing things. They have their own opinions, but one thing is that they love doing what they do. So shouts out to the Ladies Night crew and for the Man Cave. And then outside of the sports talk, you have smooth conversations. So every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, you'll either be hearing a live show or the best of smooth conversations on beatdistrictradio.com or via the app. And if you want to watch any shows, whether it's live or a previous show on the archives, go to YouTube, go to Smooth Conversations. Once again, Smooth with three O's. And you can check out upcoming shows and previous shows. Shouts out to my District Radio family. It's been an amazing journey with them. I look forward to doing more things with them down the line. Last but not least, because I had to go ahead and make this happen because got an event coming up this weekend and one going down in August in about 2 weeks, and that's G4L. That's my wife's jamming with Beyonce. Y'all know who she is, Beyonce. Shouts out to you, wifey. Love you. Hope you are recovering still from the concert last night. But yeah, she has a nonprofit, G4L Girls for Life, where she has been holding things down for 11 years, y'all. 11 amazing years. And as you saw earlier on the bottom of the screen, I'm married to an NAACP award winner. Yes, she is a NAACP award winner for Girls for Life for what she's doing for the young ladies. And this upcoming weekend, they'll be at the Rustic Roots Forum. That's at 11735 Eckert Lane, St. Louis, Missouri, 63138. Needing some volunteers, want to come on out, be a part of Girls for Life, do something different in life for the young ladies. Let them know about this upcoming Saturday, July 25th at Rustic Root Forums from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You look at everything that's got going on right now. For those who are listening, just go to G4LSTL for more information. And you can also check out G4LSTL July 26th eventbrite.com so you can reserve your spot on Eventbrite. So check that out. And then lastly, Sunday, August 9th, having the back to school picnic school and supply giveaway. This is for all the school ages, pretty much from grade school up to a senior in high school. Meet us Sunday, August the 9th from 2 to 5 p.m. at the Leo Wilson Shelter, 2577 Redmond Road in Florissant, Missouri. It's going to be school supply, book bag giveaway. It's going to be food, going to be a lot of games, prizes, giveaways, and so much more. So check out G4L STL and become a member. Have your daughters become members. Go check out G Will on Facebook, on Instagram. Have a lot of great information, a lot of amazing things that my wife is doing along with her amazing lifeline. So shouts out to the wife doing so many amazing things. Now, let's get right back to the sports because I'm not alone. Up first, y'all know in life It's just some things you just gotta have. And when it comes to the platform sports talk show, you gotta have some faith. Some faith. What's going on with you?
What's going on, everybody? Good evening, good evening, and welcome to Wednesday, your Wednesday night sports delight, everybody. What's
Yeah, there
going
you
on?
go. Let them know. Let them know. Like Ti say, let them know.
Let them
Shouts
know.
out to Miss Dub, our favorite fan for life. Shouts out to you. Appreciate you always supporting the platform sports talk show. And there you go. She's showing you
What's
love too.
going on, Miss Dub? What's going on?
Yeah. So everyone, of course, y'all don't see what goes on behind the scenes in our group text and everything like that. But last week, Faith was supposed to be on the show with Jobo and I, but unfortunately, the job said nope, you
No,
can't be on. We got other plans. And when I say Faith was like heated on in the chat or in the text area, she was like, well, when
I
I
was
say the
livid.
words was being expressed over the phone, Faith, he was like, "Man, this job here."
Yeah, it was a rough Wednesday last week. Plus, I've been itching to get on here and talk about like tennis. Tennis has been crazy. You know, the more time that goes by, the less effect it has. And so last week, I was really kind of like ready to be on, and apparently, my job had other plans for me. So, but tonight, I'm here and I'm back and I'm ready, so we can talk some tennis tonight.
Yeah, and she's not the only one. I have another person who is if y'all know by now, she's a woman of many talents that has to be shown while she's doing her thing on the platform Sports Talk Show Network. But let me make sure she's ready. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, she's ready, y'all. She is the host of Ladies Night. And once again, just like Faith and all the other ladies, man, she knows her stuff. She has a passion for it. She has her perspectives, and it's just really a great thing to see ladies who love what they do in regards to their knowledge of sports. And this woman here right now cooking a 5-star meal for her family and gonna talk sports at the same damn time. Bunny, what's going on with you? And she's on mute. There we go. You know it ain't the show if she ain't on
Perfect.
mute. There
You
we
know
go.
what, y'all? Gotta start off on you, right? Good evening, happy hump day.
What's going
Oh,
on?
hey,
Listen,
What you up to cook in the kitchen?
believe it or not, this is actually not dinner. It's lunch for tomorrow. I'm cooking some sliders, some turkey
Oh,
sliders.
okay.
Yeah, get the little Hawaiian roll, add the cheese, the turkey breast on there, and a bake it, put the butter on it. When I say freaking frack, tear it up. Hey, hubby too, tear it up. I'm like, all of this for that? But okay, hey, you like it, I love it. Hi, Steph. How are you? Long time. You were just talking about gotta have the faith and her being mad about her job. I was in training last week. Today I'm coming off the road within the last 2 hours. So I try when I can to get on here, but sometimes it's just not possible. I wish it was more hours in the day, you all. Promise I wish. I need it. But here we are. I'm
right.
happy I'm here. Miss y'all.
I feel you.
Shouts out to Brody. He says nice soccer attire.
Look at you, Brody. Hey, the World Cup is over, but I had to represent for Panama. They didn't get past the what's the thing when we start doing the 32. Once you do the play,
Right.
Faith help me out here.
Yeah, that
I'm not sure.
that
Oh,
next
you ain't
round.
Not for real.
oh. Well,
Yeah,
I'm talking about
yeah,
smooth.
you
Once you
talk,
get
talk
past
about
the first 2 and 3 games, then elimination, one and done. Yeah.
knockouts.
Thank you.
Knockout.
Knockout round. They got knocked out in the first round, but most countries, just because your team makes it, you still win in the country's eyes, and that's what Panama was doing. They at least got to represent for the few days they was here in the United States, right? So shout out to them. But yeah, I like to keep that jersey. Okay.
Love it.
Let's see. And shouts out to the wifey. I was just bragging about your G4L events coming up this weekend. Matter of fact, bam, there you go again. So check it out, y'all. G4L. Go to G4L STL for more information, or go on Facebook, Instagram. Just put in G4L Girls for Life. Girls with a Z, not a S. and support what the wifey is doing. The NAACP award winner
You gotta
is
put some
tuning in
respect
right
on
now.
her, man. You better mention that NAACP award winner. Everybody
There
can't
you
out for
go.
that.
Put some respect. So she says, "Happy Hump Day, y'all." But yeah, so good to have y'all both ladies on the show. And I know Bunny, you was saying how you wish you was on the show last week. Faith was saying the same thing, but that's the blessing that we have with this network is that we have a great family. So if one person can't be on, someone else can, can fill in and hold things down like nothing has changed. So that's the blessing of having a great sports talk show family. And we're gonna get right into things because we know that Bunny has to leave in about the 8 o'clock hour or so. So let's get right into it. Hmm. What has your attention in sports? Or should I just go ahead and say, you now have my attention. So what sports story or stories has your attention? Bunny, you are up first.
I've been there personally a few years ago. Smooth and I were just talking about when I joined this show. And I told him it was 6 years ago because it was during the pandemic and I got laid off from my then employer. And now, what got my attention and have other sports enthusiasts? ESPN doing mass layoffs again. And one of my faves, RC, Ryan Clark, and y'all heard Cam Newton. Smooth, help me out. What's the other guy that you told Joe about?
Carl Ravage.
Carl Ravage. You be like, what? I'm telling you. I mean, that was coming through. Now, I also read today, of course, it wasn't just ESPN because they have, what is it? Disney that owns them. So on the Pixar side of things, I mean, Disney itself, ABC, they got affected too by layoffs. But it's just, the attention is like, oh my gosh. They do have other on their personalities, I understand. But certain personalities just brings that. Now I don't know if any women were affected. Shout out to some of my faves like Monica McNutt. She's still there. But it's just sad. But everybody bounce back. You get let go. Something else comes along.
You think there'll be more, Bunny?
You said what?
You think there'll be more layoffs, or do you think that this is it?
You and with Disney, you don't know because they've done this last year. Everything they wanted done. But you don't know what happened to where a stockholder who has a lot of shares and start crying a few months from now wants more changes and they may do it again. You don't know.
Yeah.
But it seems like for now, because in corporate side of things, you forecast your budget, how much you want to spend for the next year. I don't know what their fiscal year is. Again, I don't know what the shareholder meetings are looking like. I am a stockholder. I already voted, but it wasn't about this. Anyway, I don't know. Hopefully it's it, but it's sometimes unpredictable. So there's it. To answer your question, I don't know. I hated it happened. Like I said, we went through this last year. Because honestly, RC was told he wasn't coming back. And then he went on Twitter and all that. And people were like, oh my God. And then they brought him back within a day or two. And now for real, it happened. But, it's part of business. Nobody likes it. But that's why I said I've been there and I'm a low level person. These are on their personality that brings viewers, draw ads, because that helps generate your shows, the ad dollars. So who knows why they had the budget cuts, but it is what it is. They'll bounce back. We'll film another network.
So it's two things that came to my mind when you brought up RC. One is just something about companies wanting to lay off certain employees who bring a lot of value to the company and a lot of experience. Because all I've been hearing, especially from like Stephen A. Smith, is like when it comes to football talk, he's probably the best football analyst that you will have on the station, and they still let him go. And it reminds me of my situation where anytime we had new hires at my previous employment, I was the person that always trained the new hires. I was that go-to guy. Even the one of the supervisors at the job now, I trained that person. I trained a lot of people who's moved on and done great things, and yet I was the one that was taken off. You know what I'm saying? And so it just kind of weird how that happens. And then second, in regards to this matter, is I wonder if, and they're not gonna probably say it, of course, but they know how successful he is outside of ESPN. because he has, the pivot and he does, other things. So it's like, well, he's already getting his million. Now it may not be ESPN millions, but he's still getting the millions because he has another platform, just like Cam Newton. Now, of course, Stephen A. Smith ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? He's their bread cow. He's the one. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no ESPN really right now if it wasn't Stephen A. Smith. He like the face. So he ain't going nowhere. But you have other guys, like even the Shannon Sharp. Yeah, he messed up with that one issue, last year. But as talented as he is and what he brings to the table, I'm thinking like they're seeing, oh, well, he's already making millions off of doing this. Cam Newton already has his podcast. He got 2 podcasts that he does, and then Ryan Clark has the pivot and does this. So let's go ahead and just cut what they're doing with ESPN because they'll be good anyway. That's just I may be wrong, but that's just something that came to my mind as you were talking about Ryan Clark.
What about the other guy again? The other one? Does he have a podcast?
Now, Carl Ravage, I don't think so. So,
okay.
But then he also ain't the same color as we are. So I'm just saying. I'm just, I got to keep it real. Let's see. Brody says Ryan Clark is excellent and made a ton of money. Out of all the names that I heard were laid off, Ryan Clark was the most shocking name without a doubt. So yeah, so you have that. But ladies, your thoughts. I'll start with you, Fate.
Yeah. I honestly, when I first heard it, I was a little bit shocked, but then I start to think about it. I'm really not. I feel like I was trying to figure out where it's coming from, and so then you start to like think about like, okay, chase the money. And so the biggest thing to me, and I think the biggest change that's happened, or the biggest infusion of dollars over the last decade into the ESPN family / the Disney family, and this is just from my perspective from ESPN, as from sports, it has been sports betting, right? So that automatically set off like an alarm in my mind. So like, where are the deficits coming from? And I think that's my question is not even like about people, and part of me, like if I'm like being a little bit harsh or brash, but I'm trying to figure out why. Like ESPN, Disney, they're a conglomerate. You know what I mean? Like they are huge, and so I'm just trying to figure out honestly, like what's happening here. And I'm not really able to put my finger on it. So I feel like at this point I have more questions. I have more questions than answers for Disney. I know that they're involved in at least a couple of lawsuits, class action lawsuits. And I know that, there are a couple of other things that are happening that are kind of like along the surface, but I feel like there's something deeper happening. So I think that this is not it. That's my personal assessment. There will be others.
You got more questions than answers. I do know the ESPN side where you have to broadcast the games, meaning you have to buy your license from MLB, NHL, NBA, WNBA, MLS, or whomever. Those did go up. So that means ESPN had to spend more. Now you be like, well, y'all still make millions. Yes, but don't forget, just like you and I, when we had a job for a year or 2 or 3, where my pay increased, right? So that means they got to pay some of these on-air talent more money too. That's half the time when they do the layoff. Again, we're talking about on-air talent. They laid off people behind the scenes too. I don't know if they were just producers, writers, the graphics. I don't know who, but in general, sometimes this the corporate side. When people want more money and they don't want to give it to them, we'll rather let you go. Left up, but that seems to be the American way. But as far as the revenue dollars, and you said sports betting, well, I don't know what they're getting. I mean, we can probably just dig deeper into it. But in general, they just want to keep their profits at a certain. And they realize that maybe going over that threshold. Let's lay people off. Like I said, we went through this last year, a couple years ago. But then who else just got a pay bump? What's our NFL insider? It's not Sean's, is it? There's an NBA side. Somebody.
Adam Schefter.
Yeah. See, he just got a big pay increase. Not a coincidence. We can pay him more. We're gonna let some of them people go.
And
I think that's a really good point, Bunny. Go ahead, Smooth.
I was gonna say also, word is that Pat McAfee may get even more money now.
Yeah. I think that's also a good point. And I think that there is always money to share. And I think that it's going to be interesting to watch where the dollars go now. And especially like in this case, people getting huge pay raises.
And then
one more thing on that, Smooth. Did you read or hear about AI also can do some of the behind the scenes? So you all know they're graphic designers, different people that work to do what we see on the TV.
Yep.
Yeah, I can do some of that. So unfortunately, I read that was part of the ESPN. They're like, we can find ways some of this stuff can get done without needing the body. So that saves money too. It may not be on a large scale yet, but we know it's coming, but it has already happened.
And Brody brought up a great question. Cause I did see this online too. Was it a mistake for Cam Newton a few months ago to interview Jason Whitlock? And for those who know Jason Whitlock, he's like the ops of ESPN, of course, of Stephen A. Smith, and Cam Newton on his own podcast had Jason Whitlock on for an interview. And even Stephen A. Smith was like, questioning why would you do that? It just wasn't a good look. But anyway, he says Newton made a ton of money as well, and that's probably why he was laid off. However, Whitlock did not help matters. So is it something that ESPN saw and it was like, was that a factor? It possibly could be. I don't know, but I won't be surprised because once again, as Brody said, Newton made a ton of money as well. So it wasn't like ESPN was thinking, oh well, there goes his family. He ain't gonna make no more money. No, he's still good after that. So I still feel like because of the success of doing things outside of ESPN is a huge reason why certain guys may have gotten cut.
So make sure I heard or read Brody's comment correctly. Because Newton interviewed the ops Whitlock, because Cam interviews a lot of people all the time, just like Shannon Sharp, just like RC does. The ops, the same team, whatever, controversial, they interview these type of people all the time. So what makes Whitlock stand out compared to the other ops that all three of these gentlemen have interviewed?
Because of the man Whitlock himself. He's a lot of other guests that you see Cam Newton and Shannon Sharp have are like on an up here level, while Whitlock is down here and he talks down to so many other people like Stephen A, like others.
Now, what's funny, it's not funny, but it is funny. When I've seen Mike Hill, he's a sports broadcaster as well. He's on Fox. When I say, not even his last bad nerve, when I say hate is an understatement. When when I read the comments from Mike, when he talks about Whitlock, I said, my goodness.
Yeah.
Touch my imaginary pearls. Dude going after dude because of the stuff. And again, it's been controversial. I don't want to say sportcasters or controversial people out there that cover sports, but the way Mike here, you can tell if Whitlock needed his help, on the side of the road, and he's about to lose his last breath, Mike Hill may drive right past him. I can.
No, he'll ride over him.
Oh, right over him. Okay.
I'm just saying.
But you vote for Mike Hill, but he can't stand that man.
So I don't know if y'all have seen Reasonable Doubt on the Hulu show.
No, I haven't watched it yet. I heard it's good.
Okay, so there's an episode. I won't say everything for those who may want to check it out, but there's an episode where the main character, her name is Jax, and her, I guess, sort of stepfather. Her mom never got married to him, but they were like real cool. So he like pretty much like a father figure in her life. But let's just say he had He was getting down to possibly his last breath. I would say that, and she didn't make things no better for him. I'll just say that.
That's terrible. That is awful.
Well, damn.
Yeah. I'll just say she didn't make things no better for him. So, yeah. So that's a great start with what has your attention. Faith, what you got for us?
Yeah. What has my attention right now is it's just this whole media campaign that the MLB has going on that is called level the playing field. I mean, is anyone else not shocked by the fact that it's like commercials and broadcasting and like literally geared toward the fans? I find that to be a little bit off putting. You know what I mean? It's like they're airing all their dirty laundry and like putting stuff out in the streets and like, what do they want? Opinions from the fans? Like they're actually going to like have votes, on this. I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit off put by this, but essentially what the MLB is trying to do is everybody knows right as of right now, their collective bargaining agreement that currently exists expires this year. I think like, I don't know, at the end of the year, maybe like maybe November, December. And so I guess I'm assuming what MLB ownership is trying to do is say, they want to level the playing field for all the teams, to say like, I guess, what is it? Lower the salary cap for or like make it even for everyone.
Yeah,
Proposing a salary
have
cap.
a salary cap in general for baseball,
Right.
so you
because
can
right
have
now,
more teams to be more equal or have opportunities to be successful.
to perform on the same level, right?
Right.
Because right now there's like, I guess what, a half $1 billion disparity between the higher spending teams and the lower spending teams in the league, like your Dodgers and your Yankees and like what your Rays or Pirates or Athletics or something like that. And so and then of course the players union and the players have something else to say. Again, it's one of those things, you read the law, sounds good. By the way, everybody, please vote if you're in our area on August the 4th, and please pay attention to what you're voting for. Again, it may look good on the top, but please read the fine print like people need to do on this collective bargaining agreement that they're trying to negotiate for the players in the MLB. So there's been problems before. I'm just hoping that there's not going to be another lockout. I just feel like there's something fishy in the air here. I don't know what it's going to look like, what the MLB is going to do. I just find these commercials to be just a little bit weird. I feel like there are other ways that the MLB can maybe coerce or, figure out how to get teams to invest more money. I don't know. I feel like there are better ways for them to be able to do this than, I don't know, trying to get the fans to weigh in on this, or I don't know, whatever they're trying to do with this level of the playing field agreement. I don't know.
Yeah, and the worst thing that happened, especially to the St. Louis market, because these fans, even with the team being successful earlier in the season, even with the tarp soft movement that was going on, you still saw a lot of empty seats at Busch Stadium, even against good teams. And so, if a lockout were to happen, and you're not getting baseball until June or July next year, that would be, of course, bad for baseball. But I think it'll be even more devastating for those in St. Louis, because we're already like teetering between, should we go back in and fully support, or no, I feel like it still ain't, they still ain't ready yet. They still ain't right there, and not being available to be on the field is going to devastate a lot of people and could definitely push people away even more from going to Busch Stadium. Um, like I said, because we've always seen the drop off, and we don't need anything else to stop us or to have us start overthinking or thinking, is it worth my time to invest going downtown to watch a baseball game?
Yeah.
And thinking of that, think about it. This is 2026. The first time we didn't have people in seats in Cardinal Nation is the pandemic, 2020. 2021 was limited. So my point is, we barely even rebounded from that, and with a bad product that we had last year. So Cardinals really don't. They definitely don't have any room. And I was been looking at. I was thinking at what you were saying. Like, okay, should we come back now? They're actually looking more competitive than we realized they would be. They're further ahead of this retool. And it's like if we get into the wild card game, will the fans show up? It's still crazy that we still have to think about this. And it's like, but Cardinal Nation usually always show up. But because of what's happened, and just be real, it's just greedy. I get it. Player Association wants no salary cap. The other three major sports leagues have it. The baseball owners don't have to put out quality products in certain organizations, including Andy's favorite, Pittsburgh Pirates, because of revenue sharing. So maybe you negotiate, take the revenue sharing off. No have salary cap, will that help? I don't know, but it's like they're not forced to do better because they still get money. That's why I said down and greedy. I don't have to help support my team. It's to me the climate more of being a business or franchise owner is I'm gonna make as much money as I can, which as businessmen and women you should. At the same time, don't cheat the consumer. Try, put effort. Y'all remember Toronto Asia, the Major League came out in the late 80s, early 90s. And what was that whole thing? Let them be crappy so we can move. Give me a reason. I don't want to put the effort. I just want to make the money and move that team. Not saying that's going on now, but it shows that those owners always are thinking about forget the consumers who are helping. I just want all the money. I don't care what's out there.
Yeah. I think right now what they're proposing, and I don't know, but I think right now what they're proposing is like a salary cap and a salary floor. Because I think Brody mentioned something about like what they would need to do is like propose, if they're going to do that, like propose a salary, right, a salary floor with a tight range toward the cap, right. I think that that's exactly what they're trying to do. But if they do that, then like Bunny said, they would have to address the revenue sharing issue, you know what I mean, and then try to figure out how to balance that out, or do you cut that out altogether, to make it work. And then the players association or the union probably is not necessarily going to go for that. It's going to be, I think it's going to, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end up. I'm not going to even put it out there in the air because I'm nervous for St. Louis baseball fans. You know what I mean? Like I've been to a couple of games this year and I noticed the same thing, Smooth. You know what I mean? Like even, good teams, when it used to just be packed, it's not, you feel that kind of, angst in the air, like, should we not? That's exactly kind of like the vibe in St. Louis right now when it comes to the Cardinals. Like, are we in? Are we out? It's like we got one foot in, a toe in the pool. And I think that a lockout or, a disastrous negotiation would absolutely be devastating to Cardinal Nation.
Yeah, most definitely. So that's so far what has y'all's attention. For myself, I'm going to talk about a league in college football that for years has been the most dominant league and felt like whatever they say, people are going to jump. And that's the SEC. And if you haven't been following, word is that the SEC may, and this is in regards to just football, for what I understand. If I'm incorrect, please correct me later on. But from what I understand, football wise, is that they're considering just having their own league because they feel like they are so good and so high, so dollar driven, and they can get the most revenue, and they have what they feel the best teams, and they have what they feel the best league that they can make that happen. But here's my thing. And Bunny, I think I asked you this a while back, or maybe it was on the Man Cave or something like that. But over the last couple of years, which league has actually been the best league and has won the championships? It's being the Big Ten or the Big, whatever you want to call it. So if this was still in that Nick Saban era when Alabama was winning almost every year, then I can see their point of saying, okay, let's get our own league because we don't need the NCAA. I'm about to say NAACP, but they don't need the NCAA. But that's where I think right now, because you haven't won recently, the Big Ten has been showing up. And now I think about it, who won the NCAA basketball men's Final Four? Who just won? I believe it was Michigan, wasn't it? There we go. So they just won in men's basketball. So the Big Ten is actually showing that you may want to pump your brakes a little bit, SEC, on thinking that you're just a high and mighty and want to just go ahead and leave, because what we're doing here is what y'all wish y'all was on, and that's the effect of NIL. That's the effect of the transfer portal. It goes back to the whole salary cap, salary floor conversation. Now you're seeing more teams all across the board be more competitive. Who would have thought that Indiana would have won the national championship? Went undefeated in the Big Ten. Who would have thought that they would have been a champion? I don't think anyone outside of Kurt Cinetti and his boys in Indiana thought that they were going to go undefeated and win a natty.
Yeah.
So I think the SEC needs to be like, pump the brakes and let's just stick with what has already gotten us here. Brody has a comment. He thinks that the Power Four should have their own league. It will happen eventually. The Big 10, Big 12, SEC, and ACC. However, I think it affects all sports. And then he was saying Michigan. So yeah, that's what I was saying.
But I would think that's why you specify SEC for football only. But who's to say Big Ten is not trying to say, hey, if the SEC tries to make some for real push, this is talk now. But if they physically start getting contracts, start getting people involved, who's to say Big Ten was like, hey, we want to get in on this too. It's a whole sea of money out there and plenty for all of them. Trust me. NIL or no NIL. We already know what was going on in college football. Hell, any D1 sport, specifically the money makers, football and basketball. Now that is legal and above the table, yeah, SEC wouldn't put that out there if they didn't see that they had a potential to pull this off, though. I don't want to waste time and money either. And again, you specified football only. Basketball, if you want to go off of the history, they haven't been a basketball conference until recently. But football, yes. But as Brody said, the Power Four, they all can pull this off. But again, if you're looking at it from a fan where you want to see different schools be competitive.
Exactly.
Do you want all four, or do you want how it is now with, like, I don't know how many conferences not still, because last year, well, SMU was in Big 12, aren't they? They were the non-football school that was kind of high up there, at least 2 years ago. That was a one-off. But do people want to see that? Regular fair weather fans, hey, okay, sure. Other ones, maybe not so much, because they do want that dominant conference. They do want the bracket rights. And also, if you think about it, regionally, the SEC football, college sports is big because not too many of them have major city sports to follow too. Now, yes and no. So, of course, you got Florida, Miami, but they're not in the same region per se in Florida. You got Georgia, but Athens, Atlanta, okay, hour, maybe. But then you got Alabama, Mississippi, and the Tennessees. You know what I'm saying? The Big Ten kind of is like that, and it kind of not. It just depends what you're following that you can pull this off. But they're going to push you more, and we'll see if the other conference follow, or you basically Smoooth is saying SEC getting too big for the britches to think they can pull this off. But I don't think they'll get this traction going if they didn't see something there. And if the NIL stuff gets reined in, which supposedly be sooner than later, they may have you look at this differently again as well.
I feel like you said, oh yeah. So this past year, James Madison not even in a big conference was even though they got destroyed, but they were in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I just feel like it would take away from like some of the gusto of like college football, like some of the rivalry, some of the things that we would miss from just like historical games, historically, just. But I mean, I think they could pull it off. I feel like the SEC could definitely bridge off, and form its own umbrella league. But I think it would just kind of take away from some of the things that we enjoy about college football. And then I think would also create um again, like we're trying to, lessen some of the competition and lessen some of the craziness that's happening around NIL right now. But then like if they form their own like separate league, I just feel like there are other things that are gonna other problems that are going to be created, other challenges that are going to arise from doing that. You know what I mean? I feel like there are other things that are going to happen, other issues that we're going to have to solve by the creation of the SEC, like breaking off into some other like separate entity for football. I mean, I feel like it could be done, and it is honestly a real conversation, which means, like Bunny said, they've talked about it, and they feel like it's feasible, but I don't know if it would be beneficial. I don't know.
Yeah. And in my second thing, 'cause I just went across this on my screen, but I wanted to bring it up. Let me see if I can pull it back up real quick. Uh, what was it? Oh, so the big story about the players in the NFL wanting to have every stadium be grass. I believe that is huge
Same.
because there's been a lot of injuries. I mean, like career-ending injuries that has happened on that turf or grass slash turf field or whatever you want to call it. And my thing is, okay, we just had FIFA as Bunny is rocking, you know what I'm saying, the kit and as they call it in soccer or football, and every NFL field that was a home stadium or the hub for certain games. If the field had grass turf or any turf at all, it was covered or removed, and FIFA brought in grass fields. So every stadium, and one stadium in particular is in New York or in New Jersey, in the Giants Stadium where the Jets and Giants play. And that stadium usually has that natural turf or grassy turf, whatever you want to call it. And but for FIFA, they installed the grass. And this is what the Player Association has been wanting: is that every field is the same. From what I understand, it's better on players' bodies than being on something that feels like you're bouncing on something. Because the more bounce that you have, it's gonna mess up your joints. Just imagine like playing on a very rubber basketball court throughout the whole game.
Knees, yeah, ankles, any
All
joints.
all
It would
that,
just be terrible,
all that.
It's awful. Like, and another concern, honestly, that I've always had, and I think about this, the more and more that they're putting artificial and turf fields for these young people, in high schools and for even younger people, like even in neighborhood schools, they just did it in my neighborhood. They just put a turf field for football. To me, the bigger issue is lung issues. There are little small tiny plastic particles that they put in
Mhm,
that turf field. You inhale those things, you're sliding around in those, you getting tackled into those things.
mhm.
You're inhaling those plastic particles into your lungs. That is a major problem to me. I don't understand how that is okay. Seriously, I don't understand how that gets like greenlit. Seriously, anywhere. For kids, for adults, for anyone. These little particles that are in a little, they get kicked up. You're sliding around for soccer, for football, for anything, for baseball, because now they're doing it for baseball too. You're sliding into base, they're getting kicked up. You're inhaling these particles into your body, into your lungs. That is a major health problem. And I honestly am so glad, and I don't even know if the reports are saying it's for the reason it's for that. I guess for injuries too, because I also agree with that because those surfaces are too soft and just it's like being on a trampoline is so bad for your joints. But beyond that, it's even worse for your insides. And I honestly cannot even believe that the alarms have not sounded sooner for
Mm.
that. And to be honest, they need to get rid of it for the kids. It's terrible.
Yeah, and it just makes sense if you just look at the reason. Now, I think NFL or someone did research last year, like comparing, okay, how many injuries occurred over the last couple of seasons with grass versus turf, and it was pretty much, from what I understand, even. Like it wasn't a huge argument, but you need to listen to the product. You need to listen to the players who are actually on the field. It goes back to Brody's comment earlier about owners. Some do it for a hobby, some do it for business. And if you care about your players, if you care about your brand, how would you feel if Tom Brady doing his, his best seasons, which pretty much was every season he played, but what if he, constantly tore his ankle or knee because of turf fields? I bet y'all would have jumped on that then and made it happen. You know what I'm saying? So you have to listen to these players because they know what you're talking about. They are the ones in the trenches and they know what's best health wise. If you want your league to continue to grow, you want these players to be able to feel comfortable. And there's no better feeling to be able to feel like the higher ups respect me, they understand me, and they are there for me. It's a huge thing. Bunny, any thoughts?
Well, not being a devil's advocate, but I can see the owners, which some of them operate like this. You mentioned Tom Brady. Tom Brady went down after a couple of years. We got another quarterback we can draft. We got somebody. Basically, these players are replaceable. Hence why not so many have these guaranteed contracts. They are replaceable. You may not get the talent that you want, but they're still getting their pockets fat as the ownership will. Yeah, they could have been done this. You know that. This ain't nothing new. Turf toe has been real. Turf toe has been going on for decades. That's one of the injuries you get from playing on artificial turf.
Mm-hmm.
Eliminated, but now I got to spend more money. Rather keep it in my pockets. I can keep some of my players happy. I'll do some. Some owners think that way, and some care, and some don't. Again, more people owning franchises and organization is a business mindset to make money, and it's not to like have the passion, as you mentioned, Smooth, the brand. People are having being partial owners to help do something with their money, but do they know anything about or care? Not like that, because they will do more. Like you said, listen to the players. That's like we're employees of companies. We give you feedback for a reason. We tell you this, or you have stuff in place because the employees like we're not going to deal with this. So I don't know when the next bargaining agreement is for the NFLPA, but they can put it out there. But how big is it where they will get that to come fruition? Anytime it comes to spending more money, ownership always want to throw something else like, nope, then I do this and that. It's like, dang. But again, they're replaceable. And a lot of the owners operate like that.
Yep, there we go. So that is what has our attention to start off the pretty much the first hour of the show. Once again, we know that Bunny will be leaving earlier than Faith and I, so I want to get into some certain topics. I want to first start off and let Faith cook with this one here, because we all know that the great Serena Williams, she recently came back from Wimbledon, and it was moments, Faith, where I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
Hold on.
It's you know what I'm saying? She's getting it, like we're seeing the reason why she's the GOAT. But then, back to reality, and she did lose and I think it was 3 sets or 2 sets.
I believe it was 3 sets to my
Okay.
joint.
Yeah, 3 sets. But it was great to just see her back. But then, as you were talking about it earlier in the pre-show, that pretty much afterwards, she had some issues with her knee and had to go ahead and withdraw from future matches. which leads me to this topic right here, as I was bringing up earlier about should Serena Williams stay retired. And the reason why I bring this up is because the last thing that we want to envision, especially to certain players, I mean, all players, we wanted them to have a great ending to their career. But, you have those certain ones, the LeBrons, the Tom Brady's, and, of course, Serena. We were hoping for a better ending for Tiger Woods. But we don't want to have these stars, these heroes, to go out and not be who they were. And so, with the issues that Serena has been having over the years, the most recent issue with her knee, as much as we love to want to have her on TV and maybe get another Grand Slam and a whole nine, do you think that it's truly worth it for her to make that happen? Faith, especially with you and your love of tennis. I know my mom may be watching right now as well. And for everyone else who's listening, who's tuned in, let us know in the comments. But do you feel that she needs to go ahead and just stay retired, girls? Just stay retired.
Oh man, y'all know this is a hard one for me, so I had to wear my tennis gear today too, just to represent heritage today, tennis gear. But I anticipated this, right? Because I never wanted to see her leave because she wasn't playing her best when she retired back in 2022, but she also wasn't playing her worst. I think that she had unfinished business. Again, she retired with 23 Grand Slams. The record in the Open era is held by Margaret Court, 24 Grand Slams. She had a couple of opportunities slip right through her fingers in the last couple of years. I'm sure she wasn't able to sleep. And so I just feel like, and then of course she's the GOAT. And so, if the one thing that you did was tennis from the time that you were 3 years old to the time that you were 40 years old, and that's pretty much all you did, it's kind of hard to wake up every single day and not do that anymore. So she's back. Should she have stayed retired smooth? I don't know, but she's back. I think that for me, I'm gonna have to see a little bit more. I think that she rushed it, to be honest. Match play is different. I think that, again, I talked about it a little bit on Ladies Night last time. Serena elevated the game, and now everybody's playing like Serena did. And so, in order for her to win, she's going to have to play on a higher level, right? And so, I don't think she was totally ready for that. She's got to get some more match play down. She literally, they gave her like the greatest opponent like she could have ever had. Like, it was literally like a wind up, like a gimme. You know what I mean? And I think that is also not going to sit well with her. I kind of feel like the knee injury is kind of, I don't know. I think that it was more like a pride. My knee hurt because my pride hurt injury.
Ooh, you think so?
I think it should hurt. Okay, I'll put it like this. She came back on grass. We talked about grass. Grass is a tough surface. We talked about that a little bit. But in tennis, grass is it's the toughest surface to play on. It is slick. It is hard to get your footing. It is a very difficult surface. And so rushing it, coming back on to Wimbledon for Serena, to me was a choice. You know what I mean? She was the greatest of all time. I think she made that choice because it's the biggest tennis stage in the world. She wanted to make a statement. She wanted to show up there. I think that's the last place she won a championship, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Somebody might have to fact check me on that. But she rushed it. And then, and again, tennis, the grass is tough. And so she might have tweaked a knee because that is entirely possible on grass. If you were to do something like that, it would happen on the grass. It's slick. Again, the footing isn't stable. But I think that the knee injury gave her some time to kind of regroup, maybe practice a little bit more, because I think that if she gone further in a tournament, people may have been expecting to see her maybe, show up in one of the next upcoming hard court tournaments that are leading up to to the US Open. And honestly, with this knee injury, I don't know if we will. We might. She may need to get some more match play before the US Open. My suggestion would be that she does. I think that she needs to attend. There are 3 major ones that are coming up before then. I think it's DC, Cincinnati, and there's one other hard court. DC, Cincinnati. I'm missing one. Oh, Toronto and Canada. The Canada one that Vicky and Boko won last year, and that reminds me she will not be around. She's another one with a knee injury that happened on grass. She actually won't be around to actually defend her title in Canada this upcoming hard court season. So I don't know. I don't know, Smooth. I love to see her around. I would have to give it another try. I need to see her play another tournament, and then I will be able to give you a better assessment. But as of right now, I say Serena, yes, come back. She didn't look bad. She played pretty good in a couple double warm-ups. Didn't I think won, had a walkover in another. I think I need to see another match. I got to see her get warmed up. I can't just dismiss it right now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it is more so. Yes, I do want to see her defy the odds because she's a GOAT. But at the same token, I'm scared for her to try to chase it and then it's worse or off health wise. That's the last thing that you just want to experience is you're chasing this. Now she did mention, and I think that was just for TV purposes or whatever. But I think she was asked about how important it is to be in another Grand Slam, and she was like, "No, I'm not thinking about that. That's not my focus." Come on now.
She always says that.
Come on now.
We know that that's not the truth.
Exactly.
It's not at all. Not coming from Serena Williams. I don't buy it for 1 minute,
Yeah. The fire that you have, you want that. As soon as you're on the court, it's not about a participation trophy. Well, at least I made it here.
Nope.
No,
never with her.
You going for the champion. You want to be like, yeah, look at me. I ain't played in 4 years and I just defeated a 19-year-old or whatever it is, a woman who's 30 some years younger than me that I defeated. You want to have that feeling. Any thoughts, Bunny?
But that's what when Faith said about her crying that injury like this, not fake, but it wasn't a true knee injury, but it's kind of like my ego got hurt, so let me use it as a reason to bow out. I hope that's not the case, Faith. She has done too much for the game, for women in tennis, to have your ego hurt that bad where you have an injury where you're like, I'm going to bow out now. I mean, just take the L. I mean, still a pride issue, definitely, but please don't tell me you faked it. She done did too much. I don't want to believe it. But who knows what she's going to do next, you all. My question is, what else do you have to prove? Faith said she done did this her whole life, literally from walking as a preschooler age to 40-something. So 40 is her life doing it, but that doesn't mean to try to go back and one more time and do it. You can do this for play, you can do it on the other circuit, but to put it on a national stage and your ego is a little, on the line here, like, is it worth it? What do you have left to prove? You did what you're supposed to do. Now just sit back.
Yeah, I don't think that she has anything to prove. And I don't think that she feels like she has anything to prove. I think that she wants to play because that's just what she wants to do. But I also feel like when she plays, she expects to win. Because she's a champion and she's the GOAT. And I think that that's kind of where she is with it. I don't feel like she's coming back because she needs to show the world that she's still the best. I think that she knows that she's always going to be the best. I think that she just has an expectation, that when she shows up, she expects to win. But I think that she also needs to have an expectation that she needs a little bit of time. and everybody does, even the greatest players right now, when they come back from an injury and they come back from a break, 2 or 3 months, they still need some match time. They still need some time to work themselves back into the rhythm of things. Tennis is all about timing. And when you're gone from the game for a little bit, your timing is off, your rhythm is off. You need some match play. You need some time under your belt to get that back. And Serena's been gone for 4 years. And so I'm hoping that, even though I know she is, because she's Serena, I'm hoping that she's not putting too much pressure on herself, but I would like to see her back out there in one of these warm-up tournaments before the US Open. And how honestly you all anticipate her playing with Venus in doubles. I would watch out for that.
Okay. So outside of Serena, once again had Wimbledon. I think is up next the French Open. Is that correct?
No, we had the French, which was crazy.
Okay, French, Wimbledon.
Then Wimbledon, and when the US Open starts
US
in
Open.
August. Yes, okay. So Wimbledon just wrapped. We had another winner, another new winner, actually. I think it's like the 10th in a row. The last person to defend the Wimbledon title was Serena back in 2016. She won it in 2015, 2016. And since then, there's been a new Wimbledon ladies winner every single year. So this year, it was Czech winner, Linda Noskova. She actually beat another fellow Czech, Karolina Muchova. And it was actually a really good match. Karolina Muchova actually beat Coco Gauff in the semifinals. Actually, I really like both, obviously, Coco Gauff and Karolina Muchova. And that was actually a really, really good match, too. Karolina Muchova actually saved a match point against Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff had like a gimme and just completely flubbed it. She had a gimme for the match and completely just, I don't know, had a completely just like meltdown, brain fart, just like, totally just like lost it. But it was a really good match. Coco played really, really well on tennis. On grass. These were her best grass court results. And so I'm hoping that this actually increases her confidence on grass, but also going into the hard court season. She had dropped to number 8 in the world. This actually moved her back up to number 4 in the world. So she would have a really good placement going into, if she's able to keep it going through. I think she will probably play 1 or 2 hard court tournaments in between. I don't know if she'll play DC, or she'll probably either play DC or Cincinnati, or maybe Toronto and Cincinnati. But she'll play 1 or 2 hard courts before she goes to the US Open. And if she plays well, she'll have some really good placement going into the US Open. So I'm really, really, really proud of her on grass, because it was really sketchy going into it. Didn't know what it was going to look like for her. She had a couple of battles, struggled through a few. But that's what Coco does. She knows how to win without playing her best tennis. And so that was inspiring to watch. Actually beat number 3, Jess Pegula, a fellow American, in a very good match as well, who actually took out another fellow American, Eva Jovic, who was a very good talent on the American side too. So it was actually a really good Wimbledon. Struggles from Iga Swiatek continue. Elena Rybakina lost in the 3rd round to Elise Mertens. And we crowned a Yannick Sinner on the men's side for a 2nd time as a Wimbledon winner. I think it's his second Wimbledon.
What's your thoughts on your girl Naomi Osaka? You think that she's getting better, getting back to where she used to be, or still has a long way to go?
I'm very excited for Naomi. She had a really, really big win this tournament. Obviously, she beat Aryna Sabalenka, the number 1 player in the world, I believe, in straight sets. It was a very clean match for Naomi Osaka. What was disappointing is that I think she lost to Muchova in the next round, which was, I think, it should have been a match that she should have won. And I think that would have taken her into the semifinal to play Coco Gauff. So I think that was a quarterfinal match that she lost. So she beat Aryna Sabalenka in the round of 16, which was the number 1 player in the world, which was a very big win. She lost in the quarterfinals to Karolina Muchova. And that was very disappointing. But yes, I feel like Naomi Osaka is very much so looking in form. And again, this was on a grass court for her, which is not her best surface. Her best surface is hard court. She's won all of her majors on hard court. So we should see her in a couple of warm-up tournaments going into the US Open. And I anticipate a very good run for her in the U.S. Open as well. I would watch out for her. I'd actually put her as a favorite to win U.S. Open this year.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking now and I see that she is ranked number 13. So not bad, top 15. So
Yeah,
let's definitely see if she gets back to what she used to be like,
top
back
10.
then.
And the
Uh,
women's tennis is so competitive,
yeah.
especially at the top 10. So it's anyone's game. 15 and up, it's anyone's game to win a tournament on the women's side.
All right. So what about the men? Let me pull this up here because I know what's the name? Djokovic lost in like the semis
Yes. So
at
Djokovic
Wimbledon.
lost. There were some really good matches actually. He played Felix Auger-Aliassime, which was a really good match. Auger-Aliassime lost to Novak Djokovic. Djokovic went on, I believe, to play Alexander Zverev, if I'm not mistaken. And you can fact check me on that, Smooth. Let me know if I'm making sure I got that right. But Alexander Zverev and Yannick Sinner played a wonderful final. And Novak Djokovic is obviously still playing very good tennis. I'm sure he'll play a warm up going into the U.S. Open. He will probably be ranked number 3 or 4. The top 4 guys right now are obviously Yannick Sinner, Felix Auger-Aliassime, Carlos Alcaraz, who is still out with battling wrist injuries and other injuries. And then did I said Alexander Zverev, Felix Auger-Aliassime, Novak Djokovic, and Carlos Alcaraz. And so it will be obviously an interesting U.S. Open, both for the men and the women. Hardcore season is coming up, and so I just look forward to everything. It was it was crazy for the men's side too. For up until you get to the end, obviously, because Yannick Sinner is the front runner. But people pushed Yannick Sinner this year. He had several long matches, several times that people had him up against the ropes. I think against Stoff was one of them. Some very good competitive matches. I think he won his first match, honestly, past 3 hours and 50 minutes. That was one of the lines. For Yannick Sinner, he had not won a match. He had at least retired from a couple and lost several others. If it had gone past 3 hours and 50 minutes, he won his first one at Wimbledon this year. So people were actually pushing Yannick. So it was a very good season this year.
All right. That is some tennis talk. So what is just your overall thoughts on tennis as a whole? I know you do. You feel like it's still in a great spot as it used to be back in those days of when you had, Sampras and Federer and those guys. Then of course Serena, Venus, and so many other previous great tennis players. Do you feel like tennis is still one of those sports that's still being talked about globally?
I feel like tennis may have lost a little bit of its lust globally, a little bit of its shine globally, especially with the P word sport taking over. In fact, I went into a big box. I went into a big box store the other day to look for some tennis stuff, and I wandered around the store like 3 or 4 times, like, "Where's the tennis stuff?" Looking at the signs and stuff, and they don't have a tennis sign anymore because you know what it says? The P word. So now all of the tennis stuff is under the P word, everybody. I was very upset. Oh, Daniel Medvedev. Actually, he had been playing some really good tennis going into Wimbledon. I think he had won at least one tournament going into Wimbledon, and at least I think had been in a couple of at least quarterfinals or finals, or at least quarterfinals or better going into it. He's just not consistent, and I think the thing that goes on with Daniel Medvedev is obviously mental. He gets a little bit into his head. He gets a little bit dramatic. He gets a little bit angry. And so I don't know if that needs to be a coaching change for Daniil Medvedev, or if that needs to be therapy or something. I don't know. But he he was playing some really good tennis. So honestly, I was actually excited for him because he had been in a slump for a very long time for like the last couple of years. And watching him, because he has so much talent, watching him fall in the rankings from, out of the top five all the way, I think maybe until like the 20s or 30s. And then watching him, obviously get back now up until I think maybe the top 15 or 11 or 12. Has been really inspiring to watch. And so I'm really hoping that um, maybe it's just that grass wasn't, the best surface for him. And then he would, and I think that historically he's played better on hard courts. And so I'm hoping that, with the hard court season coming around, he will actually, play a little bit better and he'll have some better results.
Love it, love it. So we talked about earlier with Sabrina and these goats. Let me make sure that this shows up on my end because it's not showing. Let's see here. There we go. We talked about Serena, and Bunny asked a question about what else does she have to prove, and we all pretty much agree that she really doesn't have anything else to prove. But as a segue from one goat to another, as another person who doesn't really have to do anything else to prove anything, but that is LeBron James. And we all know that he is right now a free agent and he is on the cusp of choosing his next destination. And with this being his third different team, because you have the Heat, Cavaliers, Lakers, and now if he doesn't go back to Cleveland or Miami, then of course it'd be a whole different team. But it'll be four total destinations. Well, five actually, because he went back. So yeah, five total destinations in his career. Um, so if he makes this decision, do you think? And I'll start with you, Bunny, and of course to the people who's tuned in, leave comments, let us know. But do you feel that his legacy will be affected as he's going to make another trek to another team, another destination?
When you say a legacy affected, is it because he's gone to different organizations and teams, or just because
yes,
that the points, the rebounds, the assists, those stats matter for your legacy over how many teams you've been with. We can say there's some Hall of Famers that have been to one or two teams, and you have people who've done multiple teams and they still got elected in. So, and then it's a different age now compared to, years ago where you had that quote unquote loyalty to organization. So no, it shouldn't affect him whatever team he goes to. His stats are going to be his stats, and he's still playing at a high level. He's still playing against competition at a high level. So no asterisk needs to go by his name on that either. So no, I don't think his legacy is affected by whatever team he ends up on. We do know any team he does end up on is better. Like if you're talking about the Heat and the Cavaliers, if those are in the final two running, those are two good squads already. Him going to either one will make it even better. Now, the flip side would be, is it they need him or he needs them? But think about it. Of course, everybody wants to play for a ring. If he goes on his team, will he get them to get that ring? Because he had his years with the Lakers, but besides his third, fourth year into it, after getting their ring in 2020, kind of went downhill, and partially because what he was supposed to be working and building around Anthony Davis didn't pan out. So they never got any better. They just stayed the same to me. But he goes with the Heat, Giannis, Adebayo down there to make it better. Or if they don't get him, are they still going to be competitive? Yes. So legacy part of it, does he make any team better? Yes. At the same time, if he goes to a subpar squad, he will make them better, but will it still be on the same level as going to a deep run playoff team? So that part to me is TBD. But the other team I'm thinking about was the Warriors. Again, he will make the Warriors better, but do they need him? No. The Heat need him? No. The Cavaliers? Yes. Out of those three, Cavaliers went far in the playoffs this time, but they need him. But the other two teams, Heat, Warriors, nah. I'm not saying they're gonna go and win a finals championship without him, but they still have enough key pieces where they can be good, deep playoff run teams. Well, Warriors, maybe not, depending if Draymond resigns with them. Right now, that's the TBD. I haven't heard any talks on that one, so I'm curious how that's going to pan out.
So I disagree with the Heat part. You said that they don't need him. I feel they do because now, yes, they did get Giannis, and he has won a championship. But you think about the knowledge. This is what I'm thinking about right here. The knowledge that LeBron James is going to bring to a team that once again, he's already played for the organization. I was listening to a podcast earlier today and how out of all the teams that are available for him to choose or whatever, especially the ones that Brody brought up between 76ers, Cavaliers, Heat, Warriors, but Miami, the organization hasn't changed from when he left before. And it was great then. So he already knows what to expect when you go to Miami. That structure is there. And truthfully, I think he misses that structure because he hasn't had it in LA. Um, we know that he's made records in LA, with the, most games played or of course scoring record in the whole nine. Even though he had so much success and he did win the championship, yes, it was in a bubble, but it still matters for those who are haters.
I'm sorry.
For those who are haters, it still matters. But it did, there were other teams in the bubble that had to still play basketball. So they all did this fold and say, King LeBron, you can go ahead and win it. We will not play ball. No, they were out there on the court competing as well. So get that narrative out there, okay? No, stop it. You're just a hater, okay? and it is okay to accept that you are just a hater because that's what he's used to is being around, haters. That's just part of the game. But anyway, I feel that because of the legacy of Kobe Bryant, he put up this, Kobe Bryant's legacy and how he was so loved because of the love affair that fans had in LA. It made the expectation for LeBron, like, if he didn't win, oh, well, he's just a waste of time. Even though he did come in year 3, I believe, and won a championship, he made it happen. But it was still like, well, you're still not Kobe. You're still not our God. I'm not saying Kobe is a god, but that's just how they were treating him. And so the expectations, it was like LeBron had to be perfect, and LeBron isn't like Kobe. We try to have these comparisons. Yes, we know that Kobe is one of the most like feared, in regards to like he just had that, of course, the mama mentality. He wanted to destroy you. LeBron's mindset was different, where he can do things in a whole different way. It may not be the same, but it may not be the killer instinct like Kobe or like Jordan, but he still had his way of winning. He wanted to pretty much incorporate his teammates more to win, where Jordan and Kobe was more so, I'm going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Not saying he didn't want his teammates to do it with him, but it was just more so, it was just different. But I think the love affair that Kobe had and has, LeBron James was not getting that same. Well, he never would, but it just was never going to be close to the love affair that they have with Kobe. I think people came in with the expectations that these 8 years you were going to get the same years that you saw LeBron have in Miami and when he won in Cleveland when he was younger. But my whole thing was is that when he even moved to LA the first year, the mindset shouldn't have been he's the best player on the team. It should have been, you bringing in AD in year two. You're expecting Anthony Davis to step up his game where LeBron can be the number two, which I'm sure he wouldn't have had no problem with doing that if AD would have elevated his game and stayed on the court and was not known as street clothes. You know what I'm saying? LeBron had to be that person where he was on the court more. He the oldest person in the league, and you still playing more games than some of your best players. That's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? And I just think the expectations that, and rightfully so because of who he is, but still, as he's getting up to being age 40, you can't expect this guy to be the best player on the court. And I don't think the fans in LA, yes, they appreciate him being there, but I don't think he just really loved and adored the way that I feel he deserved to be. Now, to me, I feel like his legacy was already cemented, couldn't be changed the moment he won in Cleveland. When he did that, and the organization won that championship against the Warriors when they were down 3-1, that to me sold it. Like he could have went to another team and never went to the playoffs again in his career. I feel like that year when they won against the Warriors, that cemented everything because he did what he wanted to do since day one, and that was win in Cleveland. Yes, he had to go back to Cleveland, but he got the job done. So I feel like no matter what he does or what he has been doing over the last 8 years now, because it's been 8 years that he's been with LA. It doesn't even feel like it's been that long, but that's the longest time he's been with a team. The longest time. Yes, it's the longest tenure he's ever had with the team was in LA. Who would have thought about that? You know what I'm saying? But and once again, to me, his legacy can't be affected. He already did what he had to do when he won in Cleveland, bringing the chip to Cleveland for the first time ever. And he's at that age, rightfully deserving, where he can take his time and think about it, which leads to where I feel like he should go. Once again, I said earlier, the Heat makes more sense because the organization and the structure is right there. I know Brody keeps saying Cleveland, and yes, it would be a great story. I don't know. I don't feel that he and Harden can win together. I just don't see it. Harden to me would have to go. If something happens where Harden goes, now sources are saying that LeBron is waiting to see if certain teams can maybe try to acquire either Kyrie or Anthony Davis. And that will sway his decision even more to go and say, okay, I'm going there. I just can't see it happening with Harden. I know Coco Jones love her some Donovan Mitchell, but I haven't really been that high on Donovan Mitchell either.
Well, I'll say this because when I mentioned the three teams, Warriors, Cavs, and Heat, I was like, the other two didn't. The Heat definitely need him. They can't get any farther. They're at their ceiling. And Donovan has been doing it. Once he left Utah, went to the Cavs, he's been the man. Now, he does not have a true number one. That's the holdup, I think, even more. So, of course, for Harden, hell no, I wouldn't go there. Listen, it ain't because they'll be the AARP team, but it's because with him not playing defense, LeBron definitely is going to need somebody to pick up that slack, and he won't do it. Man, it'd be a waste. And that it honestly, the mindset that Harden has, I don't know the mindset. Not saying he wasn't a superstar one time, he was. But even now, I can see him and LeBron getting into it behind closed doors because he's still a competitor at 40 years old and still don't want to take no lackadaisical approach of even at practice. And I can see Harden doing it. We already know, y'all know how I've been feeling about Harden, the king of traveling, the king of crying, the king of defense. Like, it definitely would clash. But the other thing, when you're talking about AD, why would he want AD again? Free clothes ain't going to help either. I'm Sorry. If you're trying to get another chip, no way. We put friendship aside when we're working on business, and you ain't gonna help it. If AD had a 72 game season, I don't know how effective it could be. I still don't. Why? When he out there, he was good, but when the last time we see him being dominant, he has aged some too. So could he be effective like he was before he got to the Lakers? Is it working?
And I do want to add, as I bring on the teams, the 76ers. That is a sexy pick because you just got Jaylen Brown. But as I mentioned last week, can you really trust a full season or full playoff run of Joel Embiid? If he didn't have these past injuries, his issues, I think LeBron would have already signed with Philadelphia.
But he's just like AD to me. Embiid and AD in the same boat. Why? Why would you jeopardize yourself for trying to get to the ship? And I can't get y'all to do half a season and let them be going to playoffs. You know it's a dog fight, and you probably gonna have some ailment pop up. It ain't even worth the headache. Literally, he should say, "I am too old for this."
And then lastly, the Warriors. So this is the one that I would not mind it happening because I know how much he loves Steph Curry and how he wants to play with Steph Curry and how him and Draymond Green are boys. And they do have a nice young roster. However, my only issue is how my wife brought up on the last Ladies Night show, the OMG game, the old men game. That may be the issue that LeBron may see is that, well, me, Steph, Draymond will have to be the best players every night for us to have a chance to win. And with the Western Conference being so loaded with young stars and teams like OKC and the Spurs that are very young teams, you got Minnesota. They just got, LaMelo Ball. They still got to get some other pieces around that. You still got Denver. You know what I'm saying? that's still pretty young. It's like, can you have the OMGs to carry a team throughout the whole year? So I personally feel that the Heat is the best option for him. I wouldn't mind seeing, him and Steph have a season together, a full season. And then, of course, story mode Cleveland. But I have to say, just structurally and organizational wise, the Heat. But that's just my theory. Faith, I know you got your hand up. You got your hand on your face, like, man, I got some things to say. So.
No, I'm just listening and thinking. I'm processing all of this information.
Okay, Faith, I got something for you to think about. Only for the Cavaliers, though. Harden, don't resign them and bring my boy out of retirement, and you will have them ready to go. Who is that you ask?
I do.
CP3.
Oh.
That means the head coach will have to take a back seat of being a head coach. CP is old school and he's strict, but the results is there. He makes everybody better. Ask SGA. SGA ain't on the level he was without when CP was there with the Thunder. But that means because how he is, and he's a coach without having that title, you will have to take a seat. Like, you can say stuff on the sideline, but no, when CP, he's going to run that huddle. He's going to run that floor, but he get them where they need to be. His personality can work with Mitchell, and can work with LeBron. He would get them boys.
You think that the three of them, though, would be able to get Cleveland over the hump into a championship?
Closer than where they are now, yes.
I think that would be a stretch. I don't know.
Everybody got an opinion, but I'm just saying, because what did I tell y'all? They don't have a true number one. With Jaylen going to the 76ers, that definitely makes them better. Besides, of course, we don't know if Embiid is going to not have to deal with injuries. But that helped them out, too. And, of course, I don't want to get all off into other teams, but he just mentioned Timberwolves. You got Melo and Anthony Edwards in the backcourt. Let's see how that's going to work out. I
love that. I can't wait to see that. Man. I'm not going to lie. I can't wait to see that all season. I'm not missing a Timberwolves game. Okay?
Verdict is definitely out on that one. Please come back to me at the All-Star break in February and see where we are with them too. Anyway,
we'll see, but it's definitely going to be entertaining.
So staying with that though, real quick, buddy, how do you feel about John Morant going to Portland?
I don't know who else is on the Portland squad.
Not the Strawberries.
Right.
Because I'm sitting there like, once Chauncey Billups got in trouble, I was like, oh shoot. That kind of like wayside of me. I was like, who gets the guy? And you know when that Dane, oh God.
That's about it, by the way.
I'm sitting there like,
What?
what?
Thing in Portland. That's it.
Good luck.
They're trying to keep him out of trouble, but the Portland laws are liberal. They're lax. Just saying.
He needs a fresh start, and he ain't gonna have a limelight. But Memphis wasn't a limelight type city either, though. But right. Portland's just as bad. Not bad. I shouldn't say that. They're just like that. That's not a big limelight city.
Feel like you can
which
find a lot
which could be good.
Memphis.
Which is good for him. You know, maybe he needs to go to
a different scenery. Your game and getting some teams that actually you could be competitive with, and then how you gonna get? This is what he will have to do. Morant will have to definitely be on his best game to where people want to say, "I want to play for Portland." They want to come there because he's there. That's what he have to do. He got to do this in one season. Other than that, they're gonna have to put him back on a trade block. But we'll see. But that definitely not different.
I have a few comments from the IG world. So shouts out to my barber, Gerondo. He make sure the line and be nice and crisp for your boy. You know what I'm saying? Every other week or so. But shouts out to him. He says if the Knicks didn't win, he wouldn't have mind seeing LeBron James play for the Knicks, playing at Madison Square Garden. And I believe LeBron James said that himself, that if the Knicks didn't win, he probably would have chosen the Knicks because he would have loved to play and have New York or Madison Square Garden be the home court. But now that they won, well, I ain't gonna be there. You gonna call me KD. And then he says wherever LeBron goes, there has to be a big man present. So I mean, you think about Bam Adebayo, you think about Giannis. Woo! Anyway, Brian, just watch how Wemby isn't going anywhere.
That's my pick. That's why I'm surprised no one said the Spurs. I would send LeBron to the Spurs. Why is nobody saying that?
Because I don't think the Spurs are right there. I don't think that it was ever an option. They just recently signed Tobias Harris. And so the Spurs themselves, after they acquired him, he's a small forward. He does similar things like LeBron.
Yeah, I feel like
there's no room for him.
Exactly.
There's no room for him. That's like the Spurs. I wouldn't even thought. No room for him.
No. Me neither.
And even with now when you mentioned earlier about Kyrie reuniting, I'm like, that's it. And Kyrie, they are, as you said, sources. Mavericks are trying to offload them. I was like, oh, okay. But where would they go together though? Who could take that on? Who would the right fit? And again, it gotta be a coach that don't mind being on the back seat. You know, they title say coach.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And then I do have to bring this up. LeBron's former team, the Lakers. I am intrigued to see how this team is going to be because now you might as well call them the Los Angeles Internationals because they pretty much got every international player this offseason to be on the team.
Pelinka to their GM.
Yeah, Pelinka. This team has never had as many international players ever, I don't think, in one season that we're about to experience this upcoming year. I am really intrigued to see, and Stephen A. Smith said this, and he was 100% dead on. But AR, Luka, and Walker Kessler, being the three guys that's going to lead you to a championship, good luck with that.
You a fool. I'll be blunt. A fool if you think that. Let's just be real. Once Jenny Buzz and her brothers got into it and they sold that organization, that was it for me. And that's, I think, part of what made LeBron's decision not to resign. He already wouldn't get it got contentious at the end with him and Jenny Buzz, but it just got worse once they had to sell it. I was like, this just ain't the Lakers organization that y'all know to from Showtime, the Kobe. Like, this ain't it. That's why I asked Pelinka still GM, but it ain't maybe behind doors they got something there, but front for us to see, nah, this ain't the Lake Show organization that we know that has 17 championships. This ain't it.
Yeah.
Mm, mm.
But as far as like my feelings about whether or not it's going to ruin his legacy, whether he goes to another team, again, like this is not, the 1960s, 1970s, even 1980s, 1990s NBA where people come in the NBA, they stay with teams forever. LeBron has 4 NBA championships, 4 MVPs. I think 4 like finals MVPs. Like he's the all-time NBA leading scorer. Like he's played over 20 years of like elite basketball. Like he's been in an all-star game. He has like gold medals. I don't even know why that's even like a question or in anyone's conversation. Like he has absolutely a lot like Serena established himself, and it's gotten to the point where I don't feel like there's anything else that he has to prove. And so I think that at this point, the question for LeBron is, what does he want? It's not even that. It's not even what do the organizations want, what do the players want, what do the fans want. What does LeBron want? Like, do you want to go to a team where you have to continue to like pick up, pick up the slack, or play hard every night, or like be the number 1 or number 2 guy, or do you want to be the number 3 guy, or do you know what I'm saying, like do you want to come off the bench, do you want to what I'm saying, go and pursue a championship, do you want to be on a championship, or a team that could possibly win the championship, do you care, do you not care, what I'm saying? Like I think that at this point it's all about what he wants. Like he's given us the best of him. You know what I mean? Like it's at this point up to him, for him to make a decision about what he wants the rest of his career to look like.
There we
And so
go.
I don't think that there's anything that LeBron could do at this point to kind of tarnish or relinquish his title as NBA all-time GOAT to me.
So right now, as you were saying, I believe LeBron has 4. He would love to get that 5 or 6 ring. Let's just say in the next 2 years that he gets the 6 rings. How do you feel people, excuse me, should how should he be celebrated if he does match or go past getting 5 rings or getting 6 rings like Jordan? Because you know how many people are always using that conversation about well he don't have as many rings as as Jordan or Kobe, what I'm saying, but if he does match or exceed and he's left teams 5-6 times, then how do you think you should view him? Bunny, you are first.
Again, when we talk about the first question with legacy, because he's not shopping around, moving from team to team, that doesn't affect it. If he leaves and retires with 4 rings, I mean, statistically, still the top 3 to me. Almost like a Serena question. What else do you have to prove? And he got one up on other people because he got to play with his son. That's not statistics, but that's something historical that's real big. And not too many people can say that. But
Bunny, do you feel like that would push him into like people not being able to even argue that he's not the greatest of all time? You know what I'm saying? Because that's the argument. Like people are like, okay, well, LeBron can't be the greatest of all time because he doesn't have more rings than Jordan. Jordan is the greatest of all time for that reason. So if he has the same amount of rings and or more rings than Jordan, does that absolutely unequivocally wipe that argument off the map? Like he's absolutely the greatest of all time if he has the same amount of rings or more, since he is these all-time scorer and leader. He has more finals MVPs, those. So does that make him unequivocally the greatest of all time if that happens?
My 2 cents, and this is going to be controversial, but I don't care. I put Jordan above him if he had equal amount of rings, because every time Jordan made it to the finals, he got a ring. LeBron can't say that. Think about it. That first year he was in Miami, he couldn't get that ring, right? His last year in Miami, he didn't get that ring. See what I'm saying? So that to me, and of course, when everybody want to say different era with defense and all that, the Jordan era, the late 80s and 90s era, the defense was hard. And That's why I'm like, you can't say, well, hey, it is what it is. It's gonna be changes over the years anyway. They evolved the sport for a reason. But no, if they were toe to toe with the rings, still MJ never lost when he got to the finals. That's it.
Yeah.
Drop the mic, exit the stage.
I mean, that's definitely an argument. It's definitely an argument for sure.
As y'all ladies like to do now, clock it. Speaking of clocking it, I know that Bunny has a clock on out. So any last words before you go ahead and leave us until ladies' night?
Ladies, gentlemen, I am still on cloud 10. Minus the Cardinals having a losing streak. You know, today they won, thank God. But I'm still on cloud 10 for St. Louis's own Jordan Walker. And I know Jobo and Smoooth when it talked about last week, but I am still happy for the city organization and what Walker did to have other young future players look at him, especially to say, hey, somebody looks like me, and he's coming out proactively saying he wants more black children being baseball athletes. Listen, I'm just so happy. And I just know we were talking about the Cardinals earlier, but specifically Jordan Walker. Keep shining. Keep doing what you do. You're about to secure that bag if the Cardinals not stupid, whether it's a lockout or not. You're about to secure that bag. Please still keep doing what you're doing. So happy. I was so ecstatic when I saw the family, and they got so much TV time. You can tell they move great as a family unit. I just, again, cloud in, and I hope the Cardinals get the act together so that the second half we can secure at least a wild card to see that momentum go in the playoffs and realize Walker.
Prayer, Bunny.
Yes.
I know, but the Marlins were losing too, though. They had the second playoff spot and they were losing. Like we had our losing streak, they did too, so we didn't lose any ground. I still know the trade deadline is when?
2 weeks.
Boom. I would say in Jaime's shoes, don't wait to get rid of certain players just to stockpile for next year. No. Do some stuff now. You already got a farm system going. We're above the curve here. We are above it. All right. We're doing expectations that weren't supposed to be met. I'm just saying, let's just go and get some better arms to try to get us to the wild card. That's all I'm asking. And if we can do that, boom. And Jordan Walker is going to, of course, be a key piece for us to even get that far. So there's it. Girl, you in that damn.
Oh my God! What was trying to do it while she was talking? Oh my God!
That was on my ending note, but when
the show was almost over. I thought I was gonna be one show.
You go to the bathroom, all that water in that damn I don't know what you call it.
I really do honestly drink this much water, but I thought I was gonna get away with at least one show.
That water cooler, and that water cooler that you drink that up. I know you pee a river. That is so much. He got a good picture of you on that too. Okay.
Oh, got me. He definitely did. I thought we was cool today.
I had to do it. So, Bunny, thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you on Ladies' Night.
Bye, Bunny.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Oh man, gotta love it. Let me go back to my my promos real quick, because once again, the Platform Sports Talk Show for those watching for the first time, tuning in, whatever it is, give us a follow all across social media. Just put in the Platform Sports Talk Show. The Memphis on Facebook, on the X, on Instagram. Go on YouTube, subscribe. We want more subscribers. We need more subscribers, and click that bell. And also. Now I think about it, because I have you on here, Faith. We need some more sponsors of the show. Talk about, the Platform Sports Talk Show Network wanting to get more sponsors for what we're doing.
Yeah, so there's an opportunity for people to reach out to us and sponsor. You can have your name mentioned, your business mentioned. We will have your logo on the show. We can do a short promo for you, brief shout outs. We can actually come to your location, shoot a little something with you. Smooth can work with you to put a little something together. We can come meet with you. But if you want to sponsor our show, or ladies' night, or the man cave, or anything in between, reach out to us. Let us know. We would love to partner with you so that you can get to recognition, and then we can get to recognition, and we can all work together to have a wonderful working relationship. So if you want to sponsor our show, reach out to us. Let's partner together to do some great things.
I love it. I love it. I love it. There we go. So you can do that by shooting us an email, platform sports talk show at gmail.com. Once again, platform sports talk show at gmail.com. I tell you, we will be swift with the responses because we want to, no, now, matter of fact, just help us help you. Let's do things together. Let's collaborate and, let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite motto, just making it happen. So going back, our last topic of this show, this has been an incredible show as we wind on down, but Bunny brought it up. The Cardinals. Yes, the best thing that happened for us this season has been Jordan Walker winning the home run derby. But ever since then, that's been the last bright spot. Uh Cardinals did win today, but in this recent road trip series, they have only won two out of the possible four out of six games. So terrible road trip. They had a great start. In the first game at Arizona, but then they had two terrible losses there, especially the third game where they were up 7-0 and then lost the game 8-7. Then they go to Anaheim, first game of that series. They had a 1-0 lead and lost 2-1. Heartbreaking loss. Then they lost game two yesterday, but they did win today 1-0, I believe. So this team has really struggled come out the gate like they did last season,
Yeah.
which led to me wanting to bring this up and our topic for the Cardinals as I pull this back up. But yes, buy or sell, because as Bunny brought up, August 3rd is the trade deadline. So for those who are tuned in, give us comments. Let us know your thoughts. Should the Cardinals buy or sell? I will go ahead and start off first, so give people opportunity to give their comments, their thoughts, with whole nine. But I've been battling with this for the last couple of days. I love to watch daily different podcasts, different shows to get different opinions because it kind of helped me kind of like think about this. Oh, well, this person said this, that person said that. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that, I feel this, I feel that, whatever it is. And I know that analytics is a big thing in baseball, but I'm really big on the human element and what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling. And I feel that what's best for this team is to sell, but I don't mean sell your future, meaning like sell your top prospects to get, this guy, that guy. What I'm saying is, as it's been stated a lot, the Dustin May, the Lawrence Newbars, Jojo Romero, even like a Pedro Pajes, just certain guys that we can go ahead and just say, thank you for your time. Let's try to trade and get smaller pieces, maybe some better bullpen pitchers, the whole nine. And what really frustrated me though, Fate, was that the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim series. The team that's like one of the worst or the worst baseball team in all of baseball, and the way that this team has played. And what's so frustrating to me is that this team, this Cardinal team, you couldn't have asked for a better start to the season. That they had a great start to the season. They were hitting with runners in scoring position. Pitchers, well, outside of Ryan Stanek, were commanding the zone and like, you know what, you want to hit my stuff, hit it. If you don't, I got you. If you do, congratulations. It was that kind of mindset of I'm going to attack you. The team is playing great defense. You know, things start going good for this team. But then what happened when they start playing teams like Milwaukee? every time they play Milwaukee, no matter what stretch of the season, it's kind of like they get that reality check. Like maybe we're just not that good. And from what I've been understanding is that one of the biggest qualities that Ali Marmol loves about his team is that they know how to bounce back from a bad loss or a bad series or whatever it is. The problem is that this Cardinal team over the last 10 games, I mean, they have pretty much sucked. And let me pull this up real quick so I can just confirm that. Go back here. But pretty much, oh yeah, here we go. Standings. And yeah, their last 10 games, they're 4-6. And I believe I heard earlier that they have maybe won out of the last maybe 12 series. They probably only won maybe 2 or 3, if that. You know, earlier in the year, they were doing great in winning series. You know, they had like this attitude of we're different. We're young, we're hungry, we want to shock the world kind of mentality, Faith. But over the last few series now, it's kind of like to me, and especially with our bullpen, one thing that I can't stand with our bullpen is when you come in and you are immediately walking guys. That's no excuse. To me, that's telling me that you're more inferior than your opponent. That you just coming in. I hate when, and I don't like to use the word hate, but when I listen to other shows and they say, "Oh well, he hasn't found his rhythm, or he hasn't found his in regards to his routine, or is he just off on something," it's always an excuse. And to me, I just feel like winning teams is all starts up here. And you have to have that mindset. That's what made or has made Serena so amazing. That is what made Tom Brady so amazing. Tom Brady didn't have the best arm in the world. He didn't have the best agility, but it was this mindset of I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make sure that you lose. And
Right.
of course, not every player on the team is going to have that, that mindset. We know that's this life. But my
Right.
whole thing is that this Cardinals team is talented.
Yes.
Now, can I guarantee a World Series? No, we can't do that. But in regards to who we have right now on this team, but my whole thing is the bullpen, even the starting pitcher. Sometimes you cannot have this mindset of, oh, I hope this is a strike. You have to be like, I'm about to give you what I got. I'm gonna be in the zone, and like I said before, if you hit it, congratulations. But it's not gonna stop me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would rather respect you from always getting hit than you walking people 2 or 3 times on the road and then give up a grand slam. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
now your team is looking defeated, or now you are defeated. It's like Riley O'Brien, our closer. You know, he had a great start to the year. Then all of a sudden something just changed. It's like maybe the team start figuring him out, and he didn't know how to adjust. And now you're pitching scared. That's what I noticed. And that's what I feel this whole team has done. Offense too. There's been times where like today, we only had 2 or 3 hits. But it's like our approach, our mental approach to the game is not of a winning team. And that's what needs to change. And that's what Hein Bloom, I feel, is seeing right now on the from his seat. Is he's realizing more and more we don't have winning players. They don't have that mentality. And there's something and that's the part of this retool, rebuild that's going on. Is he seeing how is this player acting when things don't go his way? And certain people, like I commend Jordan Walker. He had a stretch where he had a bad week or two, but then he came back and now he got back to a respectable level. He had that bounce back. It doesn't take 8 series for him to find it. He'll get it back the next series. That's what I'm saying. But you
Yeah.
got certain guys that it just carries on. Like we saw, I don't know if you've been following, but you saw how bad it's gotten for Nolan Gorman. Now he's back in the minor leagues and he's still not doing anything. It's like he just gone. It's like he got his soul just left his body and he can't find himself anymore. I just feel like this team has, to me, just too many weak-minded mentalities. It's not I'm going to make sure I get you out, or I'm going to make sure I get this runner over to third base or get him home. Is I'm trying to do too much, or I'm scared of my mechanics, or I don't know if I'm right. I just feel like there's too many mental excuses that needs to be changed. We need to get, bring in some guys. Hopefully, these guys coming from minor league system, because they're being brought up differently because they're in a different not organization, but we had a organizational change with Hein Bloom coming in and him bringing in his guys that he feels can bring up the talent the way
Right.
that needs to be done, to develop the talent. That's what I feel may be the answer. Because, like I said, you don't want to give away your top prospects right now. You know what I'm saying? Usually you do that when you're already winning and you want to maybe add that one more piece to be like, okay, now we can go for the World Series. But no, don't relinquish your top talent, your top prospects for this, for that. You have to continue to micromanage, and look at, okay, how this person, when he does this, how this person, when this happens to them, and how do they respond back. And I feel that's been a big issue with the players, or certain players that we have on this organization. I see we have some comments here real quick, then I'll let you go ahead and speak. Fate Brody says the Cardinals bullpen ERA, the center field and third baseman spots are still open holes. Dustin May, Newbar, and Romero are likely to be moved. And Brody, because you called me out on it a long time ago, but what are your thoughts now on Nathan Church? Because as you just said, the center field spot is open. He prior to the Angel series, he was like 0 for 39 or something like that. What are your thoughts on him now, Nathan Church? Is he still that guy, or from sounding what you're saying, they need to go ahead and move on from him or find someone else better to replace him? Then he says Riley O'Brien's downfall needs to be investigated. And yes, I did see you on TMA yesterday, Brody, and you was definitely speaking about what's going on with him and other guys as well, like Ivan Herrera. There is an APB out for Riley O'Brien, 1.17 ERA in April, and then 5.4 ERA in July. So yes, once again, to me, it has to be mental, because once again, and that's the beauty of sports, is that, and especially like, oh my God, like I said, I keep saying Serena, but like, these sports where it's just you, you know what I'm saying? Like the golf, you know what I'm saying? And of course, we in tennis, you have the doubles, but mainly, it's just you. But that mental matters. You know how they always say it's 70% physical, 30% mental, or whatever it is. That mental is a huge thing, and I think that's really is what's affecting him. One last thing I want to say, a big piece of the reason why this offense isn't going either is Ivan Herrera. He's the guy that I had going into this season, that if he was healthy and he was doing the stuff that he was doing last season, then he should be like, now he was an all-star, but it was by default. I don't feel like he really truly deserved it because his numbers just aren't there. Like I expected it to be at this time. But last year, before he got hurt, he was just hitting the ball hard every time. This season, I don't know what's going on, but he's regressed. He doesn't have the power. This dude used to hit bombs. Faith. This dude used to hit them jacks. Like as soon as the ball hit the bat, you can tell that ball was hard hit. His hard hit rate isn't the same as it was last year. And because of that, and him being in the two hole, which they say in baseball, your best hitter should be in the two spot. And he has not lived up this season to what I thought he would. And that's something that has to be looked at as well, is what has happened to the hard hit rate from Ivan Herrera. Why are you now swinging and missing so many times? Why are you always hitting ground balls? Like you're playing worse than Nolan Arenado, and that's the guy that I've been dogging the last couple of years.
I was about to say, for the last couple of years.
You know what I'm saying? You're playing worse than him. So, like I said, it goes back to the mental, and are you a true winning player? If someone figures you out and they stop you from doing this, What are you gonna do to to change that, to flip that? You know what I'm saying? That's what great players do.
Yeah.
And I'm just not seeing it right now from select guys from this Cardinals team, and that needs to be addressed going to next year. Um, I hope that this rebuild isn't a whole 3-year process. Because how many times have you heard, "Oh, next year should be the year," or "We should be good in the next 2 years," but then it's been like 5 years later, and we're hearing the same thing. So, uh, Hein Bloom, I know that he's really looking to see, is this a person I can see can help win, can help this team win,
Yeah.
or is it someone that just doesn't have it? He just too fragile mentally to handle the pressure. You know what I'm saying? So, your thoughts?
Yeah, so for me, I felt like this was an interesting question, but I had an absolute answer, and for me, it's sell for the Cardinals. But again, like you, much like you, Smooth, I don't think we throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? I don't think it's a complete tear down and rebuild. I think that we keep a couple of key pieces. First of all, shout out to Jordan Walker, like that was an amazing thing, winning the home run derby, literally standing up and shouting out, Black people and Black athletes, paving a pathway for more MLB Black players. Like I love to see that. So shout out to him. But I feel like there are a couple of key pieces that we have within the St. Louis Cardinals organization that we can continue to use and continue to build off of. But I mean, we know what essentially like our weak points are, right? Our bullpen pitching, our starting pitching could use a little help. Like you were talking about with Ivan Herrera, like we are lacking consistent power. You know what I mean? Like we are lacking like depth across the lineup, like and across pitching. And so those are things that absolutely need to be addressed in this offseason and within the trades, right? So, but again, what I don't want to see is a total, like you say, rebuild, because what that looks like when you say total rebuild is like, okay, now we're throwing everything away. And then this is going to be a process again. And we've already been looking at 4 or 5 years now of subpar and not so great Cardinals St. Louis baseball, right? And so now we're going to go and look at another 2 or 3 years of a full rebuild. That is not what the Cardinals need. And we were talking earlier in the show already about how we have so many fans that are like, are we in or are we out? And the last thing you want to do in St. Louis right now, from an organizational standpoint, from an economic standpoint, is do anything to disrupt that, upset the apple cart, so that you are making people, St. Louis fans, move even further away from attending St. Louis Cardinals games. And so essentially, I think that they need to be super strategic over the offseason and keeping the key pieces that we have now and beefing up those pieces that we have that we need work on, especially the pitching, and then increasing the power players that we have. But one thing that I thought that was super key, Smooth, that you were talking about, was the whole mental part of the game. And I find that to be like super, and I can actually super, relate to that. You brought up Serena. I think that was totally on point, because when you are already thinking that you are playing shitty and you're going to go out there and it's going to be a bad game, you're already defeated, you've already lost. And so when the Cardinals are going out there, and like you said, it's such a disposition from the beginning of the season. They came out, they were pumped, they looked like they were going to win. Their attitudes were great, like they had a different vibe, right? And now they walk out and they look defeated already. And so when you are mentally already defeated, there's nothing that anyone can do to help you. And I know that with tennis, like I go out there some days and I'm like, I can't hit anything. And with the moment that I have that attitude, there's nothing going in. But the moment that attitude is reversed and I'm like, yeah, I'm winning, I'm gonna win this. All my shots are going in. And I think that it absolutely 100% makes a difference. And I think that the actual saying is, or like the I don't know what the word is, but like it's, what is it, 70% mental and like 30% physical. I mean, because that's true. It might
Yeah.
even be even more. It's like 80% mental and 20% physical in sports, because your mentality absolutely determines how you play. And I think that right now the Cardinals are in a mental funk. And I don't know if they're going to be able to turn around before the end of the season. But whatever it is, they need to figure it out, obviously, before the start of next year. And hopefully whatever they decide to do with trading over the next several weeks, or when it starts in the next couple of weeks, is beneficial for next year. I'm honestly a little anxious about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something to think about, man. Like I said, because this team here that they started off just so good, like, you know what, we different. You know what I'm saying? Like, once again, not claiming, oh, they're real serious bound, but it is true about when you get in, things can happen
Yeah.
because it's about, okay, now you win, and then it's about, once again, the mental approach, that attitude. And
Yeah.
they were showing that the
Yeah,
first,
and then
you
it
know
was
what I'm saying?
exciting. And you want baseball to
Right,
be exciting. Even if you're not winning in baseball, it could still be exciting, right? And it's not that right now.
right. And then what also sucks is that series against the Kansas City Royals. That was when the tarps off movement happened. So it was kind of like a sign, like, this is it. Here, take advantage of this moment, because prior to that, well, even throughout the whole season, this team has not been good at home at Busch Stadium. They just suck. You know, they'll have a great run, great road trip, but then they come home and it's like, what happened to the team? So even the tarps off movement hasn't really helped this
No,
Cardinals team. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what is it that's stopping y'all from playing winning baseball at home? Like, we all know that for the Cardinals, it's hard for them to hit home runs. So you can't have an approach of every hit has to be a home run, but you have to know how to play within your means. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you play, if you are a Broncos fan, you know, playing at Mile High, if you are the Nuggets, you know there's gonna be different air,
at MSG.
you know what I'm saying, than playing on the East Coast or whatever it is. It's just different. You have to know how to play within your home field, your home stadium, your home, whatever it is. And for some reason, this team just has not found that winning formula at home. Once again, goes back to that mentality. You have to have a certain mentality if you want to get further, if you want to win. And I just really think that's really lacking from this organization. So y'all saw the poll for those watching the show. What should the Cardinals do? I'll just show one more time as we get ready to end the show. But Fate, it's been amazing. I'm glad that you were able to be on this Wednesday.
Didn't have any hiccups this time.
Man,
Didn't have to go berserk on anybody this week. That was nice.
didn't 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 have to go ape on anyone. So you good, but no, I appreciate you and Bunny. It was a great show, great conversation. I got a few things I need to go ahead and clip and share on social media. Some good conversation. So thank you very much once again for being part of the show. Everyone else, thank y'all for supporting and tuning in to the Platform Sports Talk Show Network. Give us a follow once again all across social media. Just put in the Platform Sports Talk Show and you'll see us. Give us a like, give us a follow. Definitely subscribe, click on that bell on our YouTube page, the Platform Sports Talk Show, and just support everything in regards to Smoooth Productions, y'all. Smoothproductions.com, smooth with 3 O's. Check out the website. You have any inquiries about any type of events or any type of services, just reach out. I will respond back in the smoothest way possible. And as I brought up before, my wife is having a few events for G4L this Saturday at the Rustic Roots Farm. Just put in Rustic Roots Farm on your phones, and you'll see the address from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Need some volunteers, want to be a part of G4L. If you have, well, go to eventbrite.com and just put in G4L STL July 26th to reserve your spot. Also, on August 9th, Wifey is having back to school picnic and school supply giveaway at the Leo Wilson Shelter Sunday, August 9th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. See more. Follow Girls for Life, G4L. Just put in G4L, the letter G, the number 4, and then the letter L. on Facebook, on Instagram. Follow the pages. Go to g4wellstl.org for more information. Everyone else, y'all have a great, amazing rest of y'all week. Stay tuned and stay smooth.
What you have just experienced was brought to you by Smoooth Productions. Until next time, stay tuned and stay smooth.